Okay, well, today we're going to talk a bit about evolutionary biology, and in specific, we're going to talk about how biology is structured and how we come across biological theories, hypotheses, and eventually experimental realities. So, in here, let's go to freeform. And let's draw these ideas out. So, not now. So here we got a board and freeform. We're going to look for a new note. So biology. As well as if you look at Sadava's book, Life, the science of biology, science. So you guys know my sources. You look at Sadava, the science of biology. If you look at Sadava, Life, the Science of Biology, you'll discover that he talks about the big picture. He talks about studying life and important concepts in biology. But the main takeaway is that the biology, according to Sadava, is the life, is the study of living things. So I'm not pulling this out of thin air, guys. I read the book. So put in my words, I mean, when we talk about living things, we can talk about plants, but let's take an example, a desk. Is a desk living or dead? I mean, it's made out of plant material. It's probably got the same anatomical structure as the plant is. I mean, it's got cellulose, which is a beta glucose polysaccharide, and it's a polysaccharide of beta glucose, which is formed by units of glucose attached to each other by beta linkages, and which have been achieved by condensation reactions. And it's a massive polymer. So when you talk about the study of living things, we talk about a desk. A desk can be considered a living thing. Can it not be considered a living thing? Well, we don't know really, but a desk is not alive because the plant, the tree was cut, so it stopped living. So here we discuss what is the meaning of living. Sadava kind of illustrates a few points about living, and he kind of summarizes it to this. When we talk about a living thing, we're saying it's made up of cells. They can be unicellular, composed of one cell, or multicellular. And according to cell theory states that cells are the basic structural and physiological units of living things, and that they can work alone or together to make up more complex organisms. Well, I mean, when we kind of pinpoint what's the meaning of that, an organism is living, first of all, it's regulating its own internal environment, something called homeostasis. This is how I spell it, homeostasis. This is every living thing has homeostasis. And another quality of living things is that living things contain genetic material, genetic material, material. And also, living things interact with one another. Interact. So this varies from books to books, because there's a book in the collegiate level, an evolutionary biology textbook, that says, well, what about glaciers? I mean, glaciers is a big ice block, and it moves, but it's not alive, whereas a rock, a rock is not alive, but a plant does not move, but it's considered living. And then it argues that for something to be considered living, it has to be in disequilibrium with the environment. So if you're talking about equilibrium, we're talking about the molecules internally are having a separate enthalpic energy, internal energy, which is, I mean, if you talk about internal energy, you talk about pressure, and you talk about volume. The internal energy, the pressure volume characteristics of the molecules inside that living thing are separate and distinct from its surroundings. So a living thing, it supports the fact that a living organism regulates its own internal environment. So it comes down to this homeostasis. That's just a different wording for homeostasis. So these books are in agreement that a living thing undergoes homeostasis. And another component of living things is that a living organism requires nutrients for energy, for energy. Okay, so those are the main kind of points about living things. The homeostasis, they contain genetic material to help them reproduce. They undergo reproduction. Whether it's by cell division, whether it's by binary fission, whether it's by the laying of eggs, as the chicken does, where the ovum gets fertilized by the semen, the rooster's semen, and it undergoes like a form of transformation that leads to the egg being formed inside the chicken, and then inside the hen, and then being incubated by the particular hen for a certain amount of time, and then you get the chick hatching out of the egg. So what I wanted to discuss about this video was just the study of living things, what is a living thing, and how we interact with living things. As usual, I like to keep my videos short so that people don't lose their interest, their attention. I think I'm gonna conclude this here, and we'll be talking about the next segment soon in another video. Thank you very much.